The American dream. For previous generations, it seemed like a given. People expected to follow a certain path. They'd get a stable job, then they'd buy a house, and finally, they'd take that comfortable retirement after years of hard work. But now, many people today feel like that dream is completely out of reach. So what's up? Did previous generations just do a better job of doing things right? Or do the traditional rules, earn wisely, save intentionally, and invest purposefully, just not apply anymore? Hi, I'm Demetriades, and today we're tackling a big conversation, the generational wealth gap. I hear a lot of frustration on both sides of this issue. So let's explore the disconnect and whether the old tried and true strategies still work. Old ways for new days. Here's what I hear from my clients. Older generations built wealth through consistent saving, investing, and living within their means. It worked for them, so they wonder why younger folks don't just follow that same path. Younger people tell me they feel like they're fighting an uphill battle. They typically start out with more debt and less confidence in their ability to build financial security. When you look at how costs and wages have shifted, it's easy to see why they feel they're facing a much steeper climb to building wealth, and why they feel frustrated when they hear, just work hard, just save more. Let's break down some facts. In 1970, the median home price was around $17,000, and the average annual wage was $6,100. If you wanted to purchase a home, it cost you about 3 years' salary. Today, the median home price has jumped to $410,000, and the average annual wage is $60,000. So if you want to buy a house, you'll spend closer to 7 years of wages. That's a direct comparison, apples to apples. Young investors are playing the same game, but with a different set of rules. And it can be hard to see how conventional financial wisdom applies. But here's the thing. The ability to build wealth is not determined by the year you were born. I see young investors every day who are outpacing their parents and their grandparents. And older investors are struggling because they've relied too much on outdated financial advice. Here's the truth. The landscape, the tools, the challenges have shifted. But the core habits that build wealth, earning wisely, saving intentionally, and investing with purpose, they still work. You just have to adjust the old concepts to suit the current conditions. Old ways for new days. Let's talk first about the idea of earning wisely. When older generations were coming up, you could get a job, stick with it, and climb the corporate ladder. That job usually included a pension, health insurance, and job security. So the advice to save for retirement wasn't complicated. People just saved in their company plan or put it in a savings account and let it grow over time. But employment looks different now, and job security is a pretty foreign concept. So when younger generations hear work hard, it can feel like the real message is you're not doing enough. Work harder, do more. Look, hard work is part of the earning equation. We all need to work hard to make progress. But earning wisely isn't just about putting in more hours. It's about being strategic with your money and your time. It's a more complex process than it used to be, for sure. But there's some good news. Young investors have wealth-building opportunities that weren't available even 20 years ago. The key is to add value in whatever you do. Find that thing, that gap, that service that isn't being filled by anyone else, and make a difference. Do it better and or in a different way to add value, real value. The money will come. For example, you don't have to grind away at a single job for 30 or 40 years now to get ahead. You can create income on your own terms through side businesses, freelance gigs, or even building a personal brand. Technology has opened up tons of doors in creating passive income. You can make money while you sleep with things like Airbnb rentals, online courses, or affiliate marketing. You can work smarter by using your skills, time, and resources in the most efficient way possible. So earning wisely doesn't necessarily equal doing more work. The right kind of work fits into a modern world where flexibility, creativity, and hustle, they can all lead to success. Next up on the list, saving intentionally. We've all heard a penny saved is a penny earned. When you look at life 50 years ago, this phrase really fit the times. Back then, interest rates were much higher. So you could put your money in a savings account or a CD and actually see it grow steadily. It worked because the system was built to reward savers. But those accounts don't function the same way now. A penny saved isn't automatically a penny earned today. In fact, you're actually losing money if you park it in a low interest account because they don't keep up with inflation. In today's world, your money works much more effectively when it's invested. And that's what I generally recommend. But if you need to keep some liquidity, you could potentially outpace inflation with high yield savings accounts, money market accounts, and/or Treasury inflation protected securities. It's just that the typical returns are going to be lower. That being said, the advice to save intentionally is still as valuable as it ever has been, maybe more so. The key here is having a solid financial plan. The first step is creating and following a budget to get a picture of your overall financial situation. Understanding your inflows and your outflows shows you what it takes to live below your means. That's the key to savings. You have to earn more than you spend. Now, I get it. Younger generations are facing a different set of challenges in saving for the future. But they also have one big advantage: access to automated financial tools. Even though our lives are very busy these days, it's easier than ever to take an active approach. You can set up automatic transfers to your savings accounts, round up purchases to the nearest dollar, and invest the difference. Or set up dedicated funds for your goals at the touch of a button. It's all literally at your fingertips as never before in history. So you can still save intentionally. You just need to approach it a little differently. Old ways for new days. Last, let's talk about investing with purpose. This core concept hasn't changed either. It's always been about leveraging your money as a tool to achieve your long-term goals. In the past, investors focused mainly on one goal: retirement. Yes, asset allocation and tax-efficient investing were always part of the equation, but to a relatively singular end. Today's approach needs to be much more strategic and comprehensive. Let me explain what I mean by that. With inflation eroding the value of cash savings, today's investors must be increasingly focused on preserving wealth, so their money works harder to stay ahead of rising costs. I mentioned this when I was talking about saving intentionally. You have to make your money work harder for you. It's not just about retirement. Investors today need to be more proactive in how they structure their portfolios, prioritizing diversification, inflation-protected investments, and tax-advantaged accounts to maximize returns and minimize risk. This more complex structure means you have to move beyond one-dimensional thinking and think in 4D. The world's more complicated now, and this is exactly why I developed the 4D client experience. You need to look at everything through a bigger, more comprehensive lens. But remember this: the purpose of wealth remains the same regardless of your age. Yes, it's important to be financially secure, but we're not called to build a fortune for our own sake. We're called to be stewards of the resources we're entrusted with. That responsibility bridges all generations. So take the lessons of the past and apply them in a way that works for you now. It's not just about where you start, but about the choices you make and the steps you take to build lasting wealth that supports the life you want to lead. Old ways for new days. I'm Keith Demetriades. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this conversation helpful, please like and share the video. And be sure to subscribe for more content about financial planning in today's world. Be a savvy steward. Make your life count.